Hello, fellow wrestling crusaders. Welcome to our latest episode. My name is Sean Wasserkrug, and as always is Jordan JPO Owens.
That's me.
Yes. We are sorry we have not been back sooner. Both of our lives got a little hectic for a couple weeks, so we missed our King and Queen of the Ring aftermath. But we're going to talk about that here on this show, as well as talk about our thoughts and predictions going into this weekend's Clash of the Castle. And next week, we'll be doing the same thing. We will go over AEW's Double or Nothing, as well as our predictions and thoughts on Forbidden Door, which is always a favorite pay-per-view of mine for obvious reasons, because we get some New Japan guys in there. But they're more bleeding into the AEW roster now more than ever, so Forbidden Door doesn't seem as much of a big deal as it did, 2 years ago when it started. But we are here talking about WWE, and also we will update you on our fantasy wrestling, as we are in week 6 now of that, and it is still going strong. But first, let's talk about King and Queen of the Ring. I think for the most part, we predicted for the most part everything correct, except for the IC title. I think IC title we were still both kind of wavering on that. We had Bianca and Jade against Candice and Indi on the kickoff show. I don't think any of us remotely thought that was going to go in any way other than Bianca and Jade winning. There's not a whole lot.
Let's give Bianca and Jade a spot.
Yeah. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to talk about. I will say this though, and we were talking about this on the last episode about the women having to wear full gear because of the customs there. But I will say this: Bianca and Jade looked like fucking superstars in their outfits, man. They were the first ones that legitimately I'm like, wow, they actually like last year they started to develop, stuff with their outfits, but Bianca and Jade looked great in their getup.
No, it's definitely been better over time. That first match with I think Natalya, where it's just, all right, you guys have to wear long pants and a 5XL t-shirt. Didn't look great. They looked very amateurish or backyardish even. But
exactly.
Over time, I mean, I think if off the top of my head, Liv in the past has looked good, and I think now they can kind of prepare, and now they kind of know what's allowed, what's not allowed, and a lot of people look them really good. Every once in a while, you'll still see it afterwards, ooh, that doesn't look great, but.
Yeah, and going into our first match of the actual pay-per-view, I'm kind of a little bit on there about that, is we had Liv Morgan against Becky Lynch for the women's title. Liv Morgan came out dressed like Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again, and Becky came out in a kind of like a suit and tux thing, which I think entrance-wise looked great. Didn't really like it in the ring. I didn't really like the get-up as a wrestling gear, but I did like it as her walk-down.
Said that they felt like they'd even kind of mess with her work-wise, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was the match itself I thought was solid. It was probably one of the better Liv Morgan matches to date. I still think Liv needs. She does the springboard code breaker, which I think she actually makes that look really good. I cannot stand her finisher. I think it looks sloppy every single time, much like Cody's springboard cutter. I don't like Liv's finisher. I think the springboard codebreaker actually looks way better for her. I think the people taking it make it look way better as well. I think every time she does her finisher, it's like the timing's always off. Either she goes too early or the opponent goes too early, and they just never. There's the occasional times where they'll hit and sink and it looks good, but I really wish she would just use the codebreaker as her finisher. But finally, my fantasy prediction paid off. Is when I said I was like I'm picking Liv because I know she's going to beat Becky for the title, and then she's going to be on TV all the time, which she fucking has. But I liked the integration of Dom. I think that was smart. I love that they were kind of making it out there like he was out there to help Becky and just completely dommed it up in the best way Dom could.
I love that. Dommed it up.
Yeah, but I thought it was actually a really good match for what it was. Obviously, it pissed off my girlfriend because she can't stand Liv Morgan because she injured Rhea, among other things. But yeah, what were your thoughts on that?
I'm having a lot of fun with this Liv reign so far. I mean, we're only we're still in the early stages, but I'm down for it. I thought this was a good match. I enjoyed this kind of Liv character in the moment here, kind of mind fucking with Dom. They did it again on Monday Night Raw with the cage match mixed up. I'm digging it so far. You know what I mean? I like it.
Have
And
you
I think we're still got so much more to go because obviously the plan is obviously probably
did now we're shooting this Tuesday afternoon. So Raw was last night. Have you got to watch Raw yet?
yes, I did watch.
Okay. They were killing me last night. First off, the whole hotel key thing, Carlito killed me in that one moment where Dom's like, she came in here, man, and she gave me her hotel key. And Carlito was like, that's cool. And they're like, no, it's not cool. Oh, okay. And then not to mention the whole sleight of hand of Finn taking the key card and sliding it into his pocket before he went out for his match. Dude, everything about that worked for me last night. I'm loving where they're going with this.
I'm enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it too, and that's for someone who doesn't like Liv. I'm actually like,
I know. I'm surprised you can admit it.
but it's not necessarily. I mean, Liv's doing what she's supposed to do, but it's more. I'm loving, not necessarily Damien, because Damien's like, this is I'm too busy to deal with this shit. I'm loving what it's doing for JD, Finn, Carlito, Dom. Like they're all like. I think they're all playing together. Like I love once again when Dom threw the card down, JD went like this. It was just like everyone sold it so perfectly. And then of course, during their match last night, which awesome to have Dom back in the ring again. I didn't know he was cleared. So I mean, for me, my head went, yay, fantasy points for wrestling. Yes, go Dom. But yeah, I thought the whole, her landing on him and then the seductively, sitting on top of him thing. And then the only thing that didn't make sense was that, like, when Zelina attacked her, that JD pulled Liv off. I'm like, JD, why are you stopping this fight? Like, there's no reason for you to stop Liv and Zelina attacking each other because you guys are trying to stay away from her. But I do love that Finn is kind of playing, like, the bro of this all, like defending, like, keeping, like, you stay away from Dom kind of thing. But it could be because he wants Liv. Which, like I said, this whole storyline could go in so many different directions, and it is one of the most exciting things going on Raw right now. So, as much as I was like, Liv as champ, I don't want it. It's working beautifully right now with the injection of a Judgment Day. But the match itself between Liv and Beck, I thought it was really good. I mean, obviously there was that cloud hanging over her because Becky's contract expired and stuff. And she's not going anywhere. Let's be real.
That's why I don't think there's a cloud.
She's not leaving Seth and at WWE to go to AEW. That's just not happening. She's probably gonna take a break for the summer so she can just be a mom, and stuff like that, which hurts you in fantasy. But which is exactly what I said was gonna happen. She's gonna take a break as soon as she drops the belt to Liv. But yeah, no, she's signing. She's never leaving WWE. Unless it's like an Edge thing where it's like years down the road. There's no way Becky's leaving WWE. So she's just taking a breather, and then she'll be back, and she'll be in whatever feud they decide to put her in. But yeah, it was a solid match. Next, we had the triple threat match for the IC title. We had Sami, Gable, and Bronson Reed. I wanted Gable to win this match so much, but I said exactly what I said during my prediction thing is Bronson is in there literally to take the pin. And that's exactly what he was in there for. I thought it was a solid match. I don't think we needed a whole nother month's worth of story with this. Like, it's working because of the Alpha Academy. But even my girlfriend last night was watching. She's like, how much longer are we going to keep doing this story? And I was like, well, they're about to have hopefully their last match between the two here at Clash at the Castle. But she's getting tired of the same, Sami, trying to talk them out of it. And then we have this whole, are they going to attack Gable? No, they're not going to attack Gable. If anything, they're going to wait for Clash at the Castle or the Monday after Clash at the Castle. But she's starting to get a little, weird on it. But the match itself, the three-way, what'd you think of it?
No, I was going to agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, it's a good match. I like the three-way here. It obviously is kind of a especially looking back on it, a transitional match to get back to having the singles match now at Clash. So I enjoyed it. And yeah, I understand what your girlfriend means. I'm not there yet, but I could definitely feel like if they gotta kind of like get to that next step now soon. You know what I mean?
I'm not there yet either.
No, yeah, I'm not there. I could definitely see if they were trying to milk it another 2-3 weeks, being like, all right, come on, it's like a soap opera now.
I don't want this going to SummerSlam. Let's just say that this needs to end before SummerSlam.
No, and they've already had a singles match already, so you either gotta end this now and make it where it's just Chad and Otis maybe without the title or put the title on him and go next level with that. You got to finish it one way or the other, I think, on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll talk further about this when we get to the Clash of the Castle portion of the show. But yeah, it was these three guys weren't going to have a bad match together, but it was very predictable. It was either going to go Sami or Chad. And Bronson sadly was just going to take the pin. I would have, like you said, I would have loved Bronson won, but he's just not. He doesn't have the momentum.
I held out some hope that maybe neither one of them need the title. Bronson maybe could, but yeah.
Next, we have the Queen of the Ring tournament final. When we did our prediction show, we still did not know if it was going to be Bianca or Nia. But of course, it went exactly how I thought it was going to be. Was that Nia was going to win against Bianca because of her knee, and then Nia was definitely going to win the tournament, and that's exactly what happened. I thought, honestly, this was actually one of the better Nia Jax matches outside of wrestling Becky and Rhea. I thought they actually went out there, did a good job. I think Lyra did a great job playing the underdog character. And hands down, probably the second most painful looking Banzai drop I've ever seen. Outside of that one where Yoko literally kicked out his legs and looked like he murdered that dude. It was one of the first few times he hit the Banzai drop. And it was some jobber who was talking shit backstage, and Yoko decided, I'm going to just destroy him. But this one, I'm sorry. There is no way Lyra could take this without fucking hurting herself. It looked rough in the best way. I'm not rough like we normally do with Nia, where we're like, oh, she fucked up the move. Nia hit it pure. It just was, there was no way for Lyra to not take this painfully. But what were your thoughts on the Queen of the Ring match?
No, I dug this as we were talking. Yeah, no, it became like, oh, you give the Lyra the hot new girl and whatnot, but this could be a really good way to kind of propel Nia. And yeah, this ended up being a good match here. I love the finish here. And I'm cool with it. I think I didn't love the brief Triple H moment because I thought it sucked kayfabe out a little too much. But luckily, she kind of recovers from that pretty quickly. But yeah, otherwise, I'm happy with pretty much everything here.
Yeah, I think out of the two, and like we said this on the prediction show, Nia needed this win. She's the monster, but then when it comes up to the big time matches against Rhea and Becky, she doesn't win. Lyra,
she's been. Yeah.
If you gave it to Lyra this soon, you could get go away heat for her for being pushed way too fast. This shows that she's important, that she's someone to keep an eye on, but she shouldn't be pushed to the moon just yet. She needs to be knocked down a peg, and this was that match. And now she's got a program with Damage Control. Nia needed this win, and she's and I'm glad. And we'll talk further about it with Gunther and Orton. No, there's no scepter. There's no robe. They're just, here's your crown. Wear it. Don't wear it. It doesn't matter. And I think, once again, this is the whole thing, a difference between Vince in charge and Triple H in charge. Triple H knows how fucking ridiculous it looks, and it tends to kill the momentum. Unless you're Booker T, it kills the momentum of whatever wrestler for 6 months, unlike the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, Gunther could still walk around holding the crown, but I love how he chose to never fucking wear it. And Nia would wear it because, she wants to gloat about it. So it makes sense, but at least they're not making her walk around with a robe and a scepter and stuff like that. They actually make it make sense now. And of course, adding the championship title shot to it, obviously, is a little icing on the cake for this. And now we got Bayley and Nia Jax coming here at SummerSlam. Going to Gunther and Randy Orton. This was great. I loved this match. I didn't know how excited I was for this until I saw them in the ring, staring across from each other, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so good." And here's the thing: it was really good, but they didn't give everything. Meaning that this is something we're probably going to see again down the road. They didn't go out there and give it 1,000%. They held stuff back for stuff down the road. The ending did get a little fucked up. But I thought it was a great match between these two. What were your thoughts on Gunther and Orton?
No, I dug it here. I love the idea of it on paper because, again, this is a fresh, unique match. But I had wondered if maybe these styles would semi-clash, if you will. AJ pun. But no, I thought they worked a pretty smart match here. Like you said, I do also kind of slightly get the feeling of, maybe they could get it down the road because, it was really good without being necessarily great, but no, it was a really good, solid match. Of course, I have no problem with Gunther winning, and now going into SummerSlam, him and I would imagine Drew having a really good match. So
And Orton took the chops. He didn't take as many as most people do, but he took those chops. And Orton,
he took
like
some
always,
because you kind of have to, but
yeah.
he wasn't
And,
going for a chop fest.
and
But.
Orton, like always, made them look fantastic because Orton's one of the best sellers in the business. Going to the championship match, it was Cody Rhodes against Logan Paul. I mean, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound like a negative, and I don't want it to come off that way, but if you've seen one Logan Paul match, you've seen them all. And this was a Logan Paul match. It was entertaining as hell. I really liked parts of this match. I still feel like it's weird because like everyone is so gung ho about Cody and love Cody, but I feel like since Cody's won the belt, he had a great match with AJ. I just feel like Cody's. I don't want to say he's coasting, but I'm waiting for that. Like, I feel like Cody still feels uncomfortable as champ. Do you feel that way at all? Or do you feel like he's doing well?
I don't know about uncomfortable, but there's definitely
It just doesn't feel right yet.
Slight momentum has been lost, I think. Yeah. I mean, but I also think that's kind of natural in a way. Because I just think the chase is way juicier than him just having it now and being a face champ. So
I guess I would say the same thing about Damien too. Damien as champ just hasn't felt all that there much either, and it's probably because the main Judgment Day storyline is now Dom and Liv, but even Damien, both champions just aren't, I think, flowing well. It doesn't mean they need to drop the belts anytime soon, but what I'm saying is I just don't feel like the champs are the main focal points of either show right now. SmackDown, it's kind of the bloodline thing again, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that is the more interesting storyline, and with Raw, you got the Liv story with Dom. You got Gable and Sami. You've got kind of this whole Braun Breaker thing. And then you got Damien and Drew. But it's still more kind of Drew and Punk in a way. And then Damien's just kind of there. But what were your thoughts on Cody and Logan?
No, I enjoyed it here. Unfortunately, this is kind of the same thing for the AEW pay-per-view. The two most obvious matches of the weekend were the world title matches. So that's a little unfortunate. And yeah, like you said too, the Logan Paul thing, that is starting to get a little long in the tooth of if you just isolated this match and you hadn't seen a Logan Paul match, it's a good match. You know what I mean? Good storytelling, good moves, great stuff, right? But I mean, it's repetitive now. It's becoming like a bloodline match, like those were for a little while. It's hitting the same beats. We get it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. And the fact that they made it painstakingly obvious that the U.S. title's on the line, that, yeah, just the outcome was, predetermined within the same beats. It's still technically good and solid, so I didn't mind it. But, yeah, I'm not. This is one that, like, if you were like, hey, Jordan, I only got an hour. What am I watching? I'm probably giving you other matches,
I thought the drone shot was actually really cool and innovative, but once again, we've seen Logan do that move multiple times. Last time, I think he did it with he was holding the phone in his hand. All cool, unique moments, but also still the same move every time they do it. But it was still an entertaining match. I also really, really liked the moment where he grabbed the Nux and Michael Cole got pissed, and Logan was gonna go after Cole, and Corey had to get between him. That was just a brief little pocket moment of the match. Was you know what? I'm liking that the announcers are getting more invested in calling the wrestlers out mid-match on their shit, and the wrestlers actually paying attention to them. Because that was always the thing. It was they would talk shit about wrestlers, and the wrestlers just acted like they were, deaf and they didn't hear them. And now it's motherfuckers, I hear you. I hear you talking shit about me, and I'm gonna look at you. And it's like Gunther always stares down Pat McAfee last night when McAfee was doing the introductions. Drew was looking at him yeah, that's right, kind of stuff. I really love these interactions. And Cole, since Vince has left, Cole has definitely had more of a shot in the arm. Not all of it works,
Cole,
but yeah,
Cole feels like he's finally the chains are off.
He's having so much fun.
Pressure. He's allowed to admit when he fucks up. That's always a fun botchamania moment. Is he'll say something wrong and instead of just you can tell he's like, I did it. All right. Like I like that.
And I think putting him with McAfee.
Little moments. And McAfee I think is drawn out too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think putting him with McAfee has allowed him to kind of loosen up a little bit. And even with Corey. Corey is like a more toned down version of McAfee, but McAfee and Corey both really bring out the best in Cole. And like so then you also have Wade Barrett, who I just love in general as well. But I really love the announcing team now. The way they have it right now, I think works perfectly. But yeah, that was King and Queen of the Ring. Let's go ahead and jump into Clash at the Castle. It's another short pay-per-view.
That's all they do now.
Yeah, it's like that's all they do for these out of US pay-per-views. I don't know why, but they are going to get SmackDown the night before, so I guess that's okay for some reason.
No, it's not.
No, I agree it's not, but in their mind, they think it's okay.
No, it's not because you're still paying a separate ticket. I would be a little annoyed if I'm showing up and I'm spending hundreds of dollars and I'm getting 5 matches. I'm sorry.
Is it? Well, let me put it this way. If AEW wasn't around giving us like 10, 12 matches of pay-per-view, would we still feel this way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm sorry, the standard has been set for years.
At least like 7.
6, 7, 8 if not 9, but 9's pushing it. 6 to 8 is your sweet spot. I'm not saying I'm not even saying get back to 8, but 7 I think is not bad.
I think 7 is the sweet spot.
And it's not like we're grasping at straws here. There's always, Damien, right, had nothing to do this show. I mean, you could have advanced another tag titles at Jax. You know what I mean? Like, there's stuff that could have been done. So
yeah, Bayley could have wrestled. She wrestled the night before.
Save the King of the Ring semifinals and do it here. Like,
exactly.
We got stuff that's possible.
I mean, literally, Nia and Bianca fought the night before, and even I was like, well, that's not fair. Lyra got like a week to rest up, and Bianca or Nia get less than 24 hours. Exactly. Same thing with Orton. He had less than 24 hours, and Gunther had a week. But yeah,
I don't hate it because it is usually decent quality, but like it will be a nitpick I'll have until it changes, if it ever does.
Yeah, we'll see. Isn't this the last out of country pay-per-view for the year? Is
it? Yeah, we're done for the whole year.
I think it is.
Oh, nothing
outside of Crown Jewel, which won't be until like November. Right. But I think like in terms of like pay-per-views that are not like the Saudi shows.
I mean, I suppose, we got SummerSlam coming, which obviously will be here. Yeah.
And Hell in a Cell and all War Games and all that stuff. But yeah, going to Clash of the Castle show. Right off the bat, we got Damian Priest against Drew McIntyre, which I would assume is the main event because they're in Scotland and Drew is, the most important man in Scotland right now. Last night he had a match with Finn, which barred all of Judgment Day from ringside. So that is a stipulation. What are your thoughts? Do you think Drew wins the belt here, or do you think they keep the belt on Damien?
I gotta think location, story is all pointing towards Drew. You know what I mean? I think even though he is kind of a heel, he's a fun heel, and they're in that area, so I just think that pop will be pretty cool. It also gives Drew kind of finally that nice title win where he can't fuck it up. So we also get that moment that we've all kind of really wanted for a little while. And I don't mind. I haven't minded Priest's reign, but like we said, I haven't been over the moon about it too. So yeah, to me, and then also the Punk thing's probably sooner than later. I could even imagine, from what I've heard, that I would imagine SummerSlam is a good. Oh no, that's not true. Is he fighting? Oh, it'd be
the winner. The winner goes against Gunther.
That's right. Which also, I'm sorry, not what I meant, but still goes with what I'm saying, which is again Gunther versus Priest. All right, cool. Gunther versus Drew for the world title. To me anyway. So.
On paper, that is the better match. Definitely on paper. But I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think last night's stipulation further solidified where I think this is going to go. And you're right. Judgment Day cannot interfere. But CM Punk can. And CM Punk's going to cost Drew the match. And which in wrestling logic theory makes no sense because if I'm CM Punk, I would want Drew to win the title because then I could take the title off of Drew. But Punk doesn't think logically like that, and Punk's going to show up, and Punk's going to do something to distract Drew, and then Priest is going to capitalize, win the belt, so he has the belt, but he will then drop it to Gunther at SummerSlam. Because that's the thing. Gunther's momentum is so high right now. I don't know if Gunther's can lose at SummerSlam. It's kind of like when Brock Lesnar was hot. You know, he won King of the Ring. He was going against The Rock. And it's like, well, Rock's not going to lose. And I was like, if Rock beats Brock, then what do you do with Brock? You know, it's no different what they did with Rusev. You know, when he went against Cena, it's like, well, if Cena, wins, then he's going to kill Rusev. And it did. Gunther's not going to have that kind of clout where if he loses, it kills his character. But I think Gunther is taking the title at SummerSlam. And I don't think Drew winning and then immediately dropping it a month later at SummerSlam is going to flow or make a whole lot of sense. So I think Damien's going to win because Punk's going to interfere and cause Drew to lose, which will then elevate Drew and Punk again to hopefully SummerSlam if Punk's capable. And then we get Priest against Gunther with Gunther winning the belt. That's what I think is going to happen storyline-wise.
I mean, I don't mind a Gunther win in the end, so.
But I would not be mad at all if Drew won. But we all said this last year with Drew and Roman. Like, this is Drew's moment. Drew's going to win at home, and he didn't.
But there was still the Roman reign. Like, there was that hope and that thought, but that was never sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Drew's gonna. I think this is gonna elevate.
Other than saving, Drew, because then, like you said, then you gotta have a little bit of everything. You can have Drew and Punk at SummerSlam. You know what I mean? So,
because here's my thought process. Yes, Punk's gonna cost Drew a title again, but now he did it in front of his home. He did it in front of his people. He did it there, which is going to push Drew even more over the edge. Like, it's different than him costing him a match at Raw or another pay-per-view, but to do it in his home country in front of probably his wife, his family, and stuff like that. Punk, there would be, if Punk does not show up and Drew loses clean, first off, Triple H wouldn't make that mistake. either Drew's winning or Punk's costing Drew the match. There's no ifs, there's no way Priest is winning this match without a Punk interference. Because I don't see a match where, right now anyway, where Priest pins Drew clean with no one interfering. But I think in terms of story mode and storylines and stuff like that, Punk is going to interfere and cost Drew to lose at home, which will then elevate it to I Need You Now, which will be SummerSlam. And then we'll get Priest, Gunther going straight in the main or SummerSlam, and then hopefully Gunther wins. And like I said, because I just don't, it's not like Priest has been a bad champ. It's just he's just been there. And I think Gunther as champ is going to mean more to the company right now than Priest. I think it was more or less like, hey, we gotta give Priest. I think Priest is gonna get at least one more defense too, because we got Money in the Bank coming up. So he's gonna have another defense, and then he'll drop to Gunther in August. So he'll get a decent title reign. It's just he needs to up it. Or they'll do what they, have been doing, and maybe he won't defend the title at Money in the Bank, which would be stupid. But I just don't know who he would defend it against at Money in the Bank. Do you have an idea? If Priest wins, who he would defend?
Oh, the Dome will do that.
No,
I'm sorry. I guess I froze there for a second. No, I was trying to think. Because he ran through. So no, I'm not sure off the top of my head. No, I'd have to look at the roster and kind of think.
Outside of a
like
Drew rematch,
because Money in the Bank's already going to have two big, ladder matches, there is a possibility. He could end up being left off again. Yeah.
Outside of a Drew main event or rematch, I don't see it happening potentially. But so he may not get another title defense. But next, we are going to go to Bayley defending her title against Piper Niven, another Scottish wrestler. I think none of these Scottish people are winning this pay-per-view. I think they're all coming home to lose because, once again, as much as I would like to see a good reign for Piper Niven, because I think Piper Niven is good enough to, especially with Chelsea as her mouthpiece, I think a title reign for her would actually work really well. It ain't going to be against Bayley, and it ain't going to be right now. for me personally, especially with Nia Jax waiting in the wings. I just don't see that happening. I just want a really good competitive match, which I know we're going to get out of these two ladies. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I always try to think of how to word this correctly because I like Pepper Niven a lot. I wouldn't mind if she had a title run in her down the line. Even this, I wouldn't mind if it happens. But I do feel like it's unfortunately that it's just it's kind of like Zelina Vega in the past and others where it's like hey, you might get a pop because you're from here, so let's hurry up and push you real quickly because she hasn't really been pushed that high. She's been left off cards on several shows now. So yeah, now this is unfortunately just like might be a good match, and maybe this will open some more eyes and down the line maybe. I think if Nia, let's just kind of keep jumping ahead. If Nia does get the title, like her and Piper would kind of might be a dope match. Who knows? But yeah, no, I think Bayley's going to retain. I think unfortunately they're obviously already setting up the next Bayley match, and yeah, I think Piper's just you get to go out in front of your home crowd kind of thing.
Staying with the ladies, we have a triple threat tag team match for the women's tag titles. We got Bianca and Jade against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and then Shayna Baszler against Zoe Stark. If you're going to put Alba Fire and Isla Dawn in this match, which, once again, Scottish, I get it, then fucking give them some wins. Give them some wins for fucking crying out loud.
Oh, my God.
They have not won. Have they won ever on the main roster?
Keep talking. I'm going to look because I don't feel like they have.
If anything, it might have been like one match. It might have been like right when they first debuted. And then they went away for like a year, which is why we didn't draft them in our fantasy thing because they weren't ever on TV. But then they show up and they talk shit. They interfere in a match. Then they do a backstage fight. And then they automatically just get title shots. And then because like literally last night they went against Shanna and Zoe, and I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, this is going to end in a probably no contest. I was like, because neither team needs to take a loss right now. They'll probably just get into it with Bianca and Jade since they're doing commentary. So that way everyone stays level going into the pay-per-view. But no, you have Fire and Dawn lose in like a minute and a half to Baszler and Zoe.
Which is like the history of this team for the last year and a half.
Sure.
So they are the what are they? The NXT? Yeah, so they're the NXT Women's Tag Champs, right?
Mm-hmm.
They unify those titles on a SmackDown in June of 2023, losing to Ronda Rousey and Shayna.
Yeah,
that's June of 2023. You don't see them on TV until January of this year. So they were gone for 6 months. We didn't see them on television, and they're around, by the way, because here they are on house shows in July, in September, in October, in December. So nobody's hurt because they're doing house shows this entire time. So they lose in January to Katana and Kaden in a semi squash 3 minutes. Isla's not even in the Rumble, if you remember. She was like with Alba and then left. They didn't even have a spot for Isla in the Rumble. Then we jump to we got a singles match with Alba that she loses. Battle Royal. They're on Main Event, the TV show, twice, and then they lost that tag match on Monday, which again, kind of a squash. That match was barely 2.5 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, why are they in this match? Again, I think they're talented. I love their looks, but they're just simply there because it's where they are location wise, which sucks.
Yeah, there is nothing wrong with these two ladies. They are very, very capable women wrestlers, and I was telling my girlfriend that because she doesn't know who they are. I go, these are actually two really good wrestlers. Why
would you know? Exactly.
If they actually would push them the way they deserve to be pushed, especially in a women's tag division that is relatively non-existent. I mean, it's growing now, but these are two ladies who should be in the forefront of this league, and you squashed them on Raw. There was no need. There was no need. You even had an out with Shayna's knee being hurt from Underground that you could have even given them the upset win to give them some elevated push going to the pay-per-view. I don't think Baszler and Zoe deserve to lose either, but I just expected, okay, this is going to be time to get them out there, showcase. They're all going to brawl, and they're all going to go in evenly, or give Isla and Alba the win because of Shayna's knee, because there's an out right there for Zoe and Shayna. But no, you squash them in under 3 minutes. who's here believing that Bianca and Jade are going to lose because they're not? But what's the fucking point of them being in this match? You haven't earned anything other than living locally, and it's so fucking frustrating. This is probably one of the most dumbfounded booking decisions in the last this year so far.
It makes me wonder, like, because it's not. I don't want to sit here and go like, guys, I can do better. But in this case, like, I feel like we both could have done better. At least in this case, there's no denying it. Like, give them the win, or I don't even like the fact that they fought each other, to be honest with you, because both of these teams should be going in looking strong. They both should have had separate matches, or even Shayna and Zoe's have had a win in the past. Just give Isla and Alba a nice win. Let them kill Katana and Kaden, or whoever's around.
Exactly, or go on SmackDown and win a match there, or something. Give them at least a couple of wins.
I was dumbfounded that they were even fighting, because I was like, oh, okay, so one team's going to look kind of weak anyway, and then it was the wrong team to look weak. Yeah.
Like I said, there was 3 routes to go. One was that they all just fight each other, and it goes into a no contest. 2, Shayna and Zoe lose because Shayna's knee injury. So there's a reason for it. Or 3,
which is
as soon as
also
the fucking match starts, both of those teams just jump Bianca and Jade, and there is no match. They just all were like, "Hey, we know we got to take them out. We'll deal with it. Let's just fucking dump them." Those are the 3 most.
We got the title shot. It's not like who this match matters rankings wise.
Exactly. Those are the only 3 logical ways to book this match last night, and you chose a 4th route, which was the worst fucking route you could possibly choose.
I was even surprised that Shayna lost in NXT, because I'm like, you got her in a title match. All right, it's a bit of an interesting choice.
And it was a match that was in her background.
Yeah, and it was a match that was pretty much an MMA match in a UFC arena.
That's like having
there's a jersey with her autograph hanging up in the hallway.
That's literally like having Undertaker have a title shot at the pay-per-view coming up, and on SmackDown he loses a casket match or a buried alive match to Maven before the pay-per-view. It's like, what are you?
That's an odd decision too. Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing?
Like they're different universes.
Yeah, it's like Shayna should go in and not that Lola Vice is a bad wrestler by any means, but
either don't do it, or let her win and they do a rematch, or I don't know. I thought it was a weird decision to have her lose. It was back and forth, so it's not like she looks that bad, but still have her lose.
But she got knocked out. It's just like, I mean, at least she didn't tap out, but still, it was this whole match is just weird. This is a weird match. Obviously, we both are in agreement. Bianca and Jade are not dropping the titles anytime soon. I think the only way they drop the titles is by turning on each other, because there's no team in this company that is at the remote power ranking of these 2 that would take them on. Outside of, they kind of were teasing something on SmackDown with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton maybe being a thing. That's the closest. But even then, I still don't think Nia and Tiffany would beat Bianca and Jade straight up. So,
well, no, I think like you said, I think the at least what we're all predicting is it's going to be the classic. Maybe, Bianca goes for the hot tag and Jade just, bounces off.
Unless they want to give Bianca the heel turn because they need Jade as a face, but Jade makes more sense as the heel.
I don't think that would work.
I don't think so either. But if they don't trust Jade to be able to carry herself as a heel without a voice, which she had in AEW, then you're going to give it to someone who they know is capable, which is Bianca. Unless you're going to have like Jade.
Yeah, I think it's way easier to make her a heel and just have her be cocky and badass and being the fiery babyface who's been betrayed, because that's the person you need talking.
Yeah. I mean, the only logical thing that makes sense for her without letting her just go out on her own as a heel is that Paul Heyman takes her under his wing, but you can't because he's tied up with the bloodline.
Robert Stone, he's a
what's that?
Robert Stone, NXT. They got another manager.
Yeah, but he's stuck at NXT. But if they bumped him up, that would work too.
That was me.
Yeah, true. Next, we have the Intercontinental title match. Like I said, we already spoken on it a little bit earlier when we were talking about King and Queen of the Ring. We got Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. I think this has to be the final match. Once again, it's going to go one of 2 ways. Either Otis is finally going to snap and cost Gable the match, and Sami wins. Or Gable wins, and we either still get the Otis thing after the match, or it's going to happen at Money in the Bank or something. Like I see Chad versus Otis happening at SummerSlam, no matter what. It's just whether or not the IC title will be on the line. What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, man, my heart wants to definitely go to just finally giving Chad a chance, taking the title here. But then you do kind of wonder, like, or is this going to be, like you said, it's going to be the slight opposite of Otis finally, shove it, and that's why Sami gets the title, and then we move on to Chad and Otis without the title, or do Chad and Otis with the title here? So yeah, it's kind of just depending on where you want to go. Do the nice pop of the pay-per-view. Scottish movie here. I'm just saying just because I want to see it. I'm gonna say Chad takes the title.
I want Chad to take the title. That might be the only logical one that makes sense for who Damien could wrestle at Money in the Bank would be Sami after he drops the belt. Unless you're gonna put Sami in Money in the Bank, I really don't know what storyline you go to next with Sami. But yeah, I definitely want Chad to take the title. I want Chad to have the belt and continue going on with that. I do think Otis had a really good promo last night with Sami where he explains why he's still with Chad and why he's still with, all of them. And he did, for anyone who didn't catch it, he did a brief little callback to Mandy Rose. So I was like, he actually acknowledges Mandy Rose on TV. I was like, okay, cool.
I lost whatever he called her. He even straight up said Tucky, which is nice.
Yeah, he called her his peach, and then took it, But what was weird wasn't Maxine like trying to be with Otis when they first started?
They definitely teased that.
Wasn't that teasing a relationship? But then he calls her his sister, and I was like, wait a second, what? I don't know where that relationship went, but I could have sworn it was like, oh man, Otis just has game, like Dom.
Yeah, no, they were definitely doing that kind of joke at first, where it's just like, for whatever reason, Otis got that that Riz, but.
But yeah, now it's like, no, she's my sister. Like, oh, okay, that's
no,
fine.
They definitely pivoted.
Yes. But yeah, I think you and I are in agreement. We both want Chad to go and win the belt. Like I said, nothing against Sami, but I
love Sami, and if he retains, that's cool. But to me, the juice is in a Chad reign. One, he hasn't had anything signals, so let's do it because I think the guy's great.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and he's getting that Kurt Angle heat in the best possible way.
Yes.
And they need to keep doubling down because if he loses again, it's like you're killing the momentum here. You're killing the momentum if Chad loses this again. Like what is next? Because even if he loses, okay, cool, you have him and Otis feud, but it's one of those things. It's kind of like with Shinsuke. They keep giving Shinsuke these high-profile rivalries with good promo work, but then he never wins them. It's like, well, then eventually everyone's going to stop just believing that Shinsuke is a threat. Yeah. He can keep talking, but if he ain't doing anything, there's no point to ever buy that Shinsuke is a threat anymore, which he hasn't been on TV, I think, since Rumble, since the draft. He's only been on once. And we haven't seen him, which I miss Shinsuke, but they have to start pushing Shinsuke to make him relevant. Too bad he already had his feud with Cody, because that would have been a good title feud for Cody. But going to Cody, we have our, one of our main events. I still think Drew and Priest is going to be the main event, but this very well could be still because it is Cody. Cody and AJ Styles in an I Quit match. I don't think it's needing an I Quit stipulation yet, but I'm also not mad at it. But I also feel like it'd be weird to hear either one of them say I quit. What are your thoughts?
I'm trying to think too. I'm trying to play that future booker head of like, is there any chance AJ gets it? Because I know we've always teased, like, could we have Cody and Rock at SummerSlam? Does that have to be for the title?
I still don't think Rock comes back at SummerSlam.
Nah.
He's shooting that MMA movie right now.
Series.
I don't think he's in the right training mode.
He probably still is.
Yeah.
Nah, you're probably right. So no, I think this is AJ had his nice Mark Henry moment, and it's another filler.
I love that he even wore like almost like like the same kind of like almost like outfit kind of thing.
It's definitely one that stood out. Yeah, and this was salmon. I want to say what was his light blue or some sort of blue, right?
Yeah, it was like a powder like baby blue
Yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah.
definitely like I feel like I want to think he went into the logic of like, all right, what's fun looking, you know?
It's like
So,
never did anyone in a fucking mind believe that this was a legit thing gonna happen. Like everyone's like, oh, so he's pulling the Mark Henry? Okay, yeah, he's pulling the Mark Henry. It was like no one goes, AJ's retired. Like, no, he's pulling the Mark Henry. I love that Mark Henry just did this once and it's been forever stapled as, oh, he's pulling the Mark Henry. Like, good for Mark Henry for having a verb of a retirement speech.
Weird quick side thing too, real quick. MLW's Battle Riot, which by the way, if you ever wanted to see Minoru Suzuki and Violent J trade chops, that's the show to watch. That's a real.
I don't ever want to see Violent J wrestling in general, let alone against Suzuki.
Well, yes, you do. With Paul Walter Hauser and Jimmy Yang and Ernest Miller and Arachna Man. What a match it was. But anyway, Mark Henry was like a special enforcer for one of the AJ Francis Top Dollar match, and they did say more than once that he's a free agent, so he's no longer with AEW. So he could pop back up in WWE.
Henry, Henry's contract expired. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on this match?
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna sneeze. No, maybe no. I won't see in a second. But no, I think Cody will get it. I think it'll be a good match here. I mean, you got to put some sort of stipulation on it. You know, you can't just have another normal singles match. So it'll be good. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I like the fact that there's a stipulation on it, so it gives me a little more meat on the bone than like even kind of like the Logan Paul match. Because again, I feel like I don't know. Is there any chance AJ walks away with this?
I would love another AJ title reign because we all love AJ Styles. But once again, I feel like it's still too early for Cody to drop the belt. That's why I was kind of bummed when they said Cody or whoever won King of the Ring went against their branch champion, because I figured if Gunther won, it would make sense for Gunther to go against Cody. Same reasoning why I thought Gunther was going to win Royal Rumble in January, and then he would choose Cody. Now Gunther might be fucking champ by the time we get to Royal Rumble. That's where my like long-term booking was going, because Gunther has been unstoppable, but yet who's the person who's thrown out Gunther the last two Royal Rumbles? It's been Cody Rhodes. And they actually made a mention of that right before Rumble. Like Gunther was like, I'm coming after you. You're the one who cost me my Royal Rumble win. I was like, okay, well, that's what the next year Gunther's going to win this. And he's going to go against Cody. Now that's just, it's like they just didn't want to do it. So once again, I'm kind of going with the mindset of if AJ loses on I Quit match, that's kind of the end of the story. But once again, where the AJ story is going, it's like, hey, he doesn't have it anymore, and he can't get a title shot from Nick Aldis, so he has to do this. But if AJ then loses, where do we go with AJ? Is he going to disappear again for a couple months, or is he going to have another feud? But with who? Or are they going to go another round with Cody and AJ? Which I wouldn't necessarily be against, but that's not going to be your SummerSlam main event. I don't know where we're going with SummerSlam. Are we going to officially start throwing Bloodline into the mix with Cody? Because they've kind of kept them away from each other. But I mean, given it 2 months from now, it could make sense that the Bloodline finally starts fucking around with Cody Rhodes. Because I can't really think of anyone else on SmackDown right now that would make legit sense to feud with Cody. Because I still don't think, like I said, I still don't think if Rock's going to come sooner than later, I don't think it'll be until Survivor Series because of the whole Bloodline thing. But yeah, if he does come back for Survivor Series or SummerSlam, I'd be happy with it. But I can't think of anyone else right now outside of the Bloodline to feud with Cody past AJ. But I think Cody's still going to win this match. I don't think Cody's character would never say I quit. I don't think AJ's would either, but he is a heel, so it gives him an out to say I quit.
Yeah.
But I don't like the outcome of how this match is going to go in either way. I feel like put them in a steel cage match, put them in a bull rope match, put them in something like that, where at least if one of them loses, or last man standing, put them in something where it's like they lose. An I quit match, that really hurts whoever's character is, because they said they quit. Tapping out and saying I quit are two totally different things, and it's gonna hurt whoever loses the match. I mean, if Cody loses, he loses the belt, and he's a character that doesn't ever seem like he would say he would quit, and AJ's always been that kind of character too. So this is just for me. I think it's just a bad match stipulation for both guys, personally. But yeah, Cody's winning the match. If he loses, I would be shocked and also happy because I just want one more AJ Styles reign, whether it's a month and he drops it at Money in the Bank or not. I just want to see that belt around AJ at least one more time. Kind of like how we all want Orton to tie the record, but it's like we need to get Orton there sooner than later. Unless you go Orton Cody at SummerSlam, that's another. You could go Orton with that too. But I do like that the Good Brothers are being utilized because they are not good guy players. They are bad guy players, and now that AJ's bad, it makes their characters make more sense too. So I like that they're utilizing them a little bit better instead of just pushing them over to NXT and just having them kind of be there to be there. But are you kind of in the same boat? Do you think it's Cody 100%?
90.
90%.
So yeah, I'll leave some hope out there because again, you never know if they're maybe like, oh, let's pivot to this or that but yeah, no, I definitely think the save money on Cody for sure.
Gotcha. So those are our predictions for Clash of the Castle. Before we go, we're going to give you guys our update for our Fantasy Wrestling League. Our last show, we were in the middle of week 3. I told you that Jordan was beating my ass after Raw ended, but he had yeah, exactly. He had me with King and Queen of the Ring coming into play, and things did not change. Jordan obliterated me in week 3 with a score of 604 to 449. Obviously, Gunther and Cody winning their matches at King and Queen of the Ring helped boost him up quite a bit. And then Awesome Truth came out of nowhere for you and was one of your top providers of that week. Mine was obviously Nia Jax winning the King and the Queen of the Ring, Liv Morgan obviously winning the belt for me, and Randy Orton obviously being a big focal point of that pay-per-view as well. But we're noticing a trend here. It seems to be that when we are in a PLE week, Jordan tends to dominate, but when it's not a PLE week, Sean dominates. Because going into week 4, we did not have a PLE, and I came out swinging, and I took back the lead, or took back the overall lead and tied up our records as I beat Jordan 349 to 264. For me that week, Liv Morgan, the Authors of Pain, and Piper Niven were my top scorers. And Jordan was Chelsea Green, of all people, DIY, and then Lyra Valkyria and Naomi both tied for his top performers of the week. And then last week, probably our closest match to date. It was only a 30-point difference, which I came out on top for that one. 341 to 311, with my top performers being Damien Priest, Authors of Pain again, and Finn Balor. And Jordan's was Street Profits, and then Bianca and Jade, because they started showing up on both shows. So yeah, as of 5 weeks in, I have a 3-2 record over Jordan's 2-3 record. But we are going into PLE with Clash of the Castle. And of course, just like last time, Jordan has jumped out into a pretty sizable lead after last night's episode. I think he's got about a 60 to 80 point lead. So unless SmackDown and Clash helps me out, Jordan's going to even the score. Our total season standings right now, I have a 40-point lead on the season of 1,889 to 1,849. My top performers of the year so far are Randy Orton, Nia Jax, and Tama Tonga and Damian Priest. And Jordan's is Bianca Belair, Gunther, and Cody Rhodes. But like I said, based on how SmackDown and Clash of the Castle go, Jordan could easily be tying everything back up, or I could start taking a pretty solid lead. A lot of it depends on really if Priest ends up winning his. If Priest main events and then wins, I might get the push needed to take over. But if it is Cody or AJ or Drew winning, Jordan's going to beat my ass. So it could go either way. But yeah, those are the fantasy updates so far going into it. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop on the Wrestling Crusaders. And of course, we're going to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we'll be back here again talking about AEW's Double or Nothing and then AEW's Forbidden Door with our thoughts and predictions for that weekend's pay-per-view. And then we'll give you guys another update on where we're at with fantasy. What are your guys' thoughts? What were your thoughts on King and Queen of the Ring? Did you like that Gunther and Nia Jax won? And where are your guys' thoughts on Clash of the Castle? Do you agree with us on who's winning and losing? Do you think The Rock's going to show up at SummerSlam, or do you think, like me, he's going to wait until Survivor Series? Let us know in the comments below. But until next time, in case we don't see you, don't try this at home unless it's on your little brother. Don't tell mom.
So, goodbye. Mwah. And good night. Bang!